Hi rock stars, this is Miss Rogers and today we are going to work on standard MD.4, which is collecting and analyzing data. Our main focus today will be analyzing data, but before we can do that, let's collect data. There was a survey that asked people what is their favorite fruit, and here are the results. Each piece of fruit represents one vote. Count with me as we determine how many people voted for each fruit. Let's start with apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There were 13 people who voted for apples. Now let's do bananas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people voted for bananas. Now oranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 people voted for oranges. Last but not least, strawberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that we have collected this data and filled out our chart, it is time for us to analyze the data. Let's go! Okay, rock stars, watch me and the strategies that I use as I analyze this data by answering these two questions. So the first question is, how many students like apples and oranges? Okay, so when I'm thinking about this question, I see that it says how many students like apples and oranges. And is a keyword that's letting me know that I am going to combine the amount of students who like apples and the amount of students who like oranges. Okay, so if I do that, I need to set up an equation. And since I'm asking how many students like apples and oranges, and I'm combining the two, I'm going to add. So I have 13 plus 11. Now, the strategy that I want to use to combine these two numbers or add these two numbers is I want to start at 13 and I want to count on 11 more. So I'm going to draw 11 circles to represent 11, and I'm going to start at 13 and count on 11 more. So first, let me start off by drawing 11 circles. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so now that I have 11, what I'll do next is I'll go over and I'll start at 13, and remember I am counting on 11 more. This is going to help me determine how many students like apples and oranges. Watch me. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So as you can see, I have 24, but I want to double check my work. So I'm going to count it one more time, making sure that I have 24, because remember, great mathematicians always check their work. That helps us attend to precision. So let me do it one more time. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yes, we do have 24 in all. So there were 24 students. Yes, 24 students who liked apples and oranges. So that would be my answer. Okay, so now let's go to the second question. So we're going to analyze data. And it says, how many more students like oranges than bananas? Okay, so this question is how many more? When we are being asked how many more, that is giving me a clue that I am going to subtract. So let me show you how. How many more, so let me underline that so I can remember, like oranges. How many more students, like oranges than bananas? Okay, so I see that there are 11 students who like oranges, and then I see there are only 7 students who like bananas. So if I were to see how many more students like oranges than bananas, my strategy is that I'm going to subtract. So I have 11, and I am subtracting 7. Let me further explain to you why. Because if I have 11 students, let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay? And then we had 7, so 11 of them liked oranges. 7 of them liked bananas. So if that was 7 of them who liked bananas, then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these purple marks represent the 7 who like bananas. So there are still 4 more students who like oranges than bananas. Because if I pair up every student who likes bananas with oranges, as you see, there are still 4 more students who like oranges than bananas. So my answer is 4. There are 4. So how many more students like oranges than bananas? 4 more students like oranges than bananas. The strategy that I used to answer my how many more question is I subtracted. I knew that I had to start with my larger number. When I'm subtracting, I had to start with my larger number, and I subtracted my smaller number. So that's why I have 11 minus 7. Rock stars, let's continue to analyze data by answering these questions. So the first question asks, how many students like strawberries and apples? All right, so this question is very similar to the one that we did before. It says how many students like strawberries and apples? And I remember that and means that we need to combine the amount that is being given. Well, I see that strawberries over here, there are 10 students who like strawberries. How many students like apples? That's right, 13. So if I said that we are going to combine 13 and 10, what would we be doing? Adding or subtracting? That's right, we need to add. So I am going to add 13 plus 10. Now remember, boys and girls, that when we're adding, a strategy that we can use is to count on. So if I want to count on, I can start at 13 and I can count on 10 more. So let's draw our 10 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, I want you to help me count. Count on. And we're going to start at 13, and I want you to help me count on to see what number we land on. I want you to do it with me. Let's begin. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 students like strawberries and apples. But don't forget, since we're good mathematicians, let's double check our work. And I'm going to change my color just to make sure that I've counted each of those circles. So let's do it one more time. Remember, we started 13 and we're going to count on. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's correct. We have 23 students who like strawberries and apples. Okay, let's answer our next question so we can analyze the data. It says, how many fewer students like strawberries than apples? Oh, so now we're comparing strawberries and apples, but we want to know how many fewer students. Well, How many fewer students is a very similar question to how many more students. So we can use the same exact strategy that we did with the how many more question where we can subtract. So let's look back over here at the data again. We see that we're still comparing strawberries, which is 10, and we're comparing apples, which is 13. Now, since I've already given you a clue that we're going to subtract, remember when we subtract, we start with the largest number. So, should we start with 13 or 10? That's right, we start with 13. So, we are going to write 13 minus 10 equals. Now, remember, since we're finding how many fewer students like strawberries than apples and we're subtracting, we're going to start with 13 circles first. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And remember, we are going to cross out a partner. So this is the amount of students who like apples. For the amount of students who like strawberries, we're going to cross out a partner for each one of those, for 10 of those. And then we're going to see how many apples are left without a partner. That's how we can determine how many fewer students like strawberries than apples. So remember, we're going to cross out 10 of these partners or 10 of these circles to see how many of them are left with no partner. That's the same as us subtracting. So let's begin. As I'm crossing out 10, I want you to count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I want you to count to see how many of those circles are left with no partners. So how many of those apples are left with no partners? That's right, 3. 1, 2, 3. So how many fewer students like strawberries than apples? 3. Now it's your turn. It's time for you to get some more practice analyzing data. So after I read these 2 questions, I want you to grab a sheet of paper, a pencil, and I want you to pause the video and begin working. So the first question is, how many students like apples and bananas? And then the second question is, how many more students like oranges than strawberries? You may begin. Okay, and we're back. So, for the first question, how many students like apples and bananas? This is another question where you are going to add because we're combining the amount of students who liked apples and bananas. So, if you looked over here at our table, you should have noticed that we have 13 students who liked apples and 7 students who liked bananas. So, if we set up our addition equation, we would have 13 plus 7 equals. So I could start at 13 and I could count on 7 more. So I can draw 7 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I could start at 13 and I could count on. So I have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Remember, good mathematicians always check their work. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yes, 13 plus 7 equals 20. So 20 students like apples and bananas. Now, as you worked your second problem, it said how many more students like oranges than strawberries. This is another problem where we can use the strategy to subtract. So, how many more students like oranges than strawberries? Because we're trying to find the difference of the amount of students who like oranges and strawberries. So I see that there are 11 students who like oranges, and then there are 10 students who like strawberries. And since our strategy that we're using is to subtract to answer our how many more question, then I know that I need to start with my largest number, which is 11, and I am subtracting 10, and then I need to find the difference. So what I could do first is I could start off by drawing 11 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so I have 11 circles, which represents my 11 oranges. And then now I'm going to pair it up with 10 strawberries. However many oranges are left without a partner lets me know how many more oranges there were than strawberries. So if I pair it off, I'm going to subtract 10 from my 11 to see what the difference is. So I'm going to count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you should have seen that you had one left. So one more student liked oranges than strawberries. Okay, rock stars. So today we worked on analyzing data through answering various questions. So what you can do is, around your house, take a survey. Ask your family what's their favorite food or maybe their favorite activity to do during the quarantine. And after you get done taking your survey, ask similar questions as the ones that we have practiced and try to analyze your own data. All right, rock stars. See you soon.